Lighting welcomes you to our store at 123 Western Main Road, St. James. Trinity Lighting carries a wide range of bulbs such as incandescent, halogen, CFL, and LEDs for any application. We are specialized in light bulbs and parts for medical, marine, residential, and commercial use. Contact us today at 868-628-8373. Our professional team is ready to assist you with all your lighting needs.
Good evening and welcome to Cutt on a Thursday. I used to be able to say Cutt live, but we are no longer filming this program live due to a series of technical difficulties and issues. We thought let's try pre-recording this program, which we are now doing on a Wednesday night to film, edit, package, and air to you on a Thursday at 8 p.m. But don't worry, you can still interact on the live discussion happening right under this video. I myself am going to be watching this program along with you so I can also interact with you as the episode progresses. So for those of you who are new here, welcome. For those who are returning, this is Cutt Thursdays where we talk everything Citizens Union of Trinidad and Tobago. And if you did not know, you're living under a rock. Citizens Union of Trinidad and Tobago is the fastest growing activist organization in Trinidad and Tobago. Not only are we focused on fixing issues on a national level, but we have created a membership program where we represent and stand in the gap for our members who may be facing issues on their workplace, in their personal, well, I don't want to say personal lives, they don't deal with romantic relationships, but who may be facing issues in their own personal business, in their workplace, like I mentioned, whether they're not self-employed, whether they're working in a small entity or big entity. We have stood up for and been a platform for our members who may feel as if they have nowhere to turn. Tonight we're going to hear from two such members, persons who one of them you would have heard from before, and another one is a new person who's coming on board. If you are following and if you would have opened your newsletter this month, you would have heard some of our success stories. One of those success stories is actually coming on the program tonight. But before we get into that portion, I would like to introduce my co-host on a Thursday, the man who heads the legal department, the legal arm of the Citizens Union of Trinidad and Tobago. He's the first responder, the first point of contact when you have an issue. He's the person that we pass you on to get your matter resolved. It's Mr. Ian Griffith. Welcome to the program, and it's nice to be with you here again, Ian. Good evening. Not hearing you, Ian.
Thank you, Felicia, for those glowing words of introduction, but I think it's better when we do it together, the show. I think will create a good rapport for the benefit of our viewing and listening audience. So I only take half of the accolades you give to me and I return the other half. Yes, Felicia is correct in terms of having two guests on tonight. She is quite correct in saying that one of our guests is what we call in-house in our chat a win. And that is in the person of Mr. Dwayne McDowell. And I think we should just bring him in. And good evening, Dwayne. How are you?
Yes, blessed good night. I'm humble. How are you guys?
Glad to hear you. Okay, so
good evening. It's nice to meet you,
right.
And well, not in person, but it's nice to see the face behind the story that I have heard. And I'm looking forward to hearing your version of what took place this evening.
All right, nothing puts
And
in
so
real
am
time.
I. I'm looking forward to hearing it for maybe the second time. Okay, Dwayne, what we're going to do is going to make it very informal, like if we are at a, metaphorically speaking, a bar or rum shop talks, and you're just going to say, what's the little issue you had during the COVID period? You reached out to Cutt, and take it from there. I may ask a question periodically just to fill the gap so the listening audience could just understand. So speak like you're speaking to a friend across the table.
Well, you are friends, so.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
So what is it that No?
Yes, that's my neighbors. That's the area I am from.
Oh, that's you. That's my you. Okay, I hear that real loud.
Yeah.
Okay, Dwayne. So just begin by telling the audience the predicament or the situation that you were in. And I believe you reached out to Mr. Stephen Reese, correct?
Yes. Give thanks to him too, because he guided me in this direction.
And then Stephen directed you to Cutt.
Yes.
Right. So just take it from there. When you contacted Cutt, what was the situation that you alluded to and the response you got?
All right. So basically, what happened, right? I was employed with a pest control company for like over 9 years, and due to this whole pandemic and COVID situation and stuff, and they was trying to get everybody to get vaccinated, so to speak, or jab rather. They started to pressure us. I'm one of the few who stand up for my right, because I didn't see the need to actually go and take this job, and yet it was still experimental, right? So with that being said, they told me, well, they wouldn't have no work for me until I get job. So I was home for basically like months. Well, so I used to be watching Stephen Reese, and watching Stephen Reese, I heard him mention Cutt, and he gave out his number, and I called him, and he put me on to Mr. Ian Griffith. And when I spoke to Mr. Ian Griffith for the first time, and he took up that case immediately, and guided me in all the directions I needed to go to see where I'm going from here for me to get justice. That's basically part of it there, but, and I must say, I really must say that I'm trying to find the correct words to say, but the work was quick, rapid, and what I enjoyed the most and what I appreciated the most is that I didn't have to call and follow up to see what's going on. I was getting a call from Mr. Griffith like every 2 days. He advised me what to do, the steps to take, and so forth and so forth. I went to other unions before I even know about Cutt. I went to other unions, and they misdirected me, because they told me that it didn't make no sense trying to fight this case because I was lost and this and that. I said, but this is my right. It must have some type of justice. And I will say thanks to Mr. Stephen Reese again, because he affiliated with all and he guided me this direction. And so far, so good. I win my case. I won my case. You know, and as I always say, when one door is closed, and next one is open, and a different door open for me now. You know, so I didn't sit down and cry and weep and studying what I will do next, because with the partnership I have with these people here with Cutt organization, they give me confidence to push forward and move forward. So I will advise anybody to go this route if they're having any doubts or any trouble in the workplace, and because you know plenty employers as well just try to inject fear into the employees of a company to make them feel, well, if they join a union they could get fired and stuff, and for some reason employees is always take that and run with it and don't know that fighting for your rights is one of the greatest things. Justice is one of the greatest things they could ever accomplish. It's one of the greatest feelings, better than money. Just getting justice. And this organization is about that justice.
Okay, Dwayne,
Anything else
thank
you would
you.
like to add?
Thank you, Dwayne, for that. I've known Felicia since 2017, and this is my
Right?
eighth show with her, and I have never seen her smile like that.
Really?
Listen to the laugh.
Really?
Because
Listen
I
to the
talk
laugh.
about Dwayne all the time. I talk about him all the time. When Ian told me about this particular success story, I was blown away. I'm like, Ian, how is this not being like advertised all over? And one of the reasons why I took special interest in it is because when we were going through the lockdown, I remember we were getting an influx of people um, messaging and reaching out to the Citizens Union for help because many of their employers were threatening them, saying, you have to
Yeah.
vaccinate to operate and you
Yeah.
can't come back to work if you're not vaccinated. And there were so many people who were just calling us off the hook, off the hook. They were scared for their jobs. They did not want to get vaccinated. And I always thought that it was just so unfair. I call it medical apartheid. That's what it felt
Well,
like because they were separating people in who can go in
mhm.
safe zones, who can work here, who can work there. And
Yeah.
I always question the legality of employers being able to do that. And a lot of employers, I know when Ian would have dealt with them, they would have backed down and say, well, okay, well, we weren't forcing them to, you're just suggesting it. But in this particular case, I was most impressed by the fact that not only was Ian able to represent you and get the settlement that you got, but that you were able to start your own um,
Yeah.
test company, which I am very
Yeah.
happy to hear that you were able to do. And it
Mhm.
also gives me and gives the viewers and anybody who feels as though they may be being victimized and forced. I was having a discussion with somebody just today who was saying, I don't want to get vaccinated. I'm seeing healthy people in their 20s and 30s dying after taking this vaccine, and
Yeah.
there's no other explanation for these healthy individuals to take passing away other than the vaccine which they recently took. And those who choose to take it, I don't have an issue. Those who choose not to take it, I also respect your right to not want to inject a foreign substance into your body. And the fact that
My body, my
some
choice.
employers took it as far as to force people into doing it or threaten or blackmail them into doing it, I felt was very unfair. And I was very happy to hear that Ian was able to resolve one of those issues and bring that peace of mind to you, Dwayne. And I was very glad to hear you coming on the program tonight to tell that story. But any other person who may feel as though, they were victimized in the past or
Yeah.
they are currently being victimized, that Citizens Union is a platform to assist them. And I appreciate you coming on tonight to tell that story. So yes,
Of
that is
course,
why
of
I'm
course.
smiling.
Well, right. It's always good to see a smile, Takes no muscle to smile at all.
Indeed.
Okay, thank you very much. So, Dwayne, just for the listening audience, I just want to fill in a few little gaps. One of the predicaments you ended up in is because the company conducted a survey of its clients asking if
Yes,
they preferred a job or on-job technician. Right.
yeah.
Before we go into that, Daryl, could you put up the letter? Right. So this is a letter from the company in question where they are writing to Mr. Dwayne McGowell. And while the font may be very small on the screen, essentially it's reiterating what I just said. It's just that we have it as evidence that the company basically wrote their clients, surveyed their clients, which I would have called a zealous overreach on the part of a company, not only based on what Felicia just described about apartheid, but to say, I'm going to conduct a survey whether you want a technician that is jabbed or unjabbed. I don't think anyone listening will not know what the result is. The result is 100% of the responses wanted a jab technician. Okay, Dal, you can take it down. Right. Having said that, that is where Dwayne found himself between a rock and a hard place. Because based on the literature and we spoke at length that he was reading and researching. He was quite informed. He was well informed for a layperson like myself about the pros and cons about the emergency use authorization. And he's correct. His phraseology is correct. Jab. So, with that initiative by the company, Dwayne was not assigned any work for approximately 3 months. Because every time he went to work, he was told, you cannot be rostered. I cannot assign you to a client because all the clients have responded to our survey saying they wanted a jabbed technician. And I believe that is when we reached out to Stefan. Stefan then directed him to us. We picked up his cause and guided him through the process. We are not going to give away our secret formula for Coke on this program because other entities may want to amplify it and copy it. However, we got to the point where our first action, having listened to Dwayne's predicament, and this is an exemplar of what we do. We wrote the company asking that they resolve the issue mutually. If not, Cutt would avail. Thank you. So this is a letter written here. I have that with me, so I will read it out in case you have difficulty reading it on the screen. So we wrote the managing director of Pestex. It reads, Mr. Troy Alcantara, I thank you for accepting my telephone call during your training session in the third week of December 2021, purportedly on the 16th of December with regard to your employee, Mr. Dwayne McDowell. Mr. Dwayne McDowell is a member of the Citizens Union, Trinidad and Tobago, hereafter referred to as Cutt. He has requested Cutt's assistance to resolve an untenable position whereby Pestex has not rostered Mr. Dowell for work and withheld his salary since November of 2021. We trust that Mr. Dwayne McDowell employment with Pestex will be regularized within 5 working days from the receipt of this letter, in accordance with good industrial relation practices. Alternatively, Cutt will advise Mr. Dwayne McDowell of all remedies available to him for redress. Signed, Philip Alexander, Executive Director of Cutt. So that's an example. We do try the diplomatic route for the employee and employer to have a discussion. We also clearly indicated we're not threatening anyone. Act in accordance with good industrial relation practices. Alternatively, he'll be advised of all remedies available for redress. And that is the situation that Dwayne found himself in for 3 months without salary. He was placed in a very precarious situation in terms of meeting his day-to-day recurring expenses. I have never asked him, and I don't intend to ask him tonight on this show, how he survived. But I have a good sense he has a family network from what, in just generally chatting with him, and in particular his mother. I am certain she played a very significant role in creating a safety net for him during those months. But I don't want him to disclose too much. But my conversations with him leads to, on the balance of probability, certainty his mother was a pivotal role in his life during that period, metaphorically speaking, out in the wilderness. And if you can put up the email, and okay. Darryl, could you put up the email, Pestex versus Dwayne McDowell that we sent out? Okay, so while Darryl is looking for that email, part of Cutt's approach, I will read it again because I have a copy of that. We are writing to one of the many industrial relation consultants that we have on board that supports Cutt in these issues. In this case, I'm addressing someone that should be well known to you. His name is Mr. Stephen Matheson. So I wrote him stating, further to our recent WhatsApp message on caption, Pestex Dwayne McDowell, Pestex has not made any overtures to re-engage Mr. Dwayne McDowell. In short, to re-employ him, because technically he's been constructively dismissed. And then I just gave him background. Pestex has initiated surveys from their clients asking if clients preferred a vaccinated or non-vaccinated technician employee to visit their premises during site assignments. Allegedly, the respondents to Pestex initiated a survey opted for vaccinated employees, technicians only. As a result, Mr. McDowell has not been rostered for work or paid his salary since the last week of October 2021. Pestex has not responded to our letter dated January 14, 2022. Please proceed to file the matter for redress. So when Felissa made reference to the support we give employees, this is an example of an employee having a problem. Cutt writes on behalf of the employee for the employee to engage. The employee chose to ignore the letter. We handed it over to one of our industrial relations specialist consultant. He picked up the matter, contacted the employee, and I must say, good sense prevailed, and Pestex and Mr. Madison came to an agreement favorably in a financial way to Mr. Dwayne McDowell, who took that in financial terms, seed money, and started his own venture. And I have to say this, because I know Felicity a little better than you. She is going to be contacting you to get associated with business affiliates.
Nice.
Because I think Cutt in that area of business affiliates could bolster your entrepreneurial spirit and create a wider platform for you to grow as a young businessman. And this is a clear example. Out of a crisis, something good came out of it. And all of us played a role, not solely me. Stephen Reese played a role. Mr. Alexander played a role in, signing the letter. Mr. Matheson played a role in bringing it to a resolution. And I must say to the listening audience, this did not go to the Labor Board, and it did not go to that St. Vincent Street Industrial Court to get protracted in our very swift legal system that normally takes 4 to 5 years. This was resolved in a very short space of time to the mutual benefit of all. And while we have identified Pestex as being overzealous in doing the survey, I also equally say I appreciate the fact that they resolved the matter in the end. Should it have gotten to this far to be resolved? Who knows? Looking back, it may be an oversight. Maybe they may be more careful in the future when engaging their employees. And as the letter stipulated, act in accordance with good industrial relation practices. And when Dwayne was referring to his rights, that is what he was alluding to. I'm employed with you for 9 years. It is my choice not to be jabbed. I am in a predicament by actions you took, namely to conduct a survey, which anybody know would be adverse to your interests. And that was the basis for not giving you work for 3 months and not paying you, blaming the clients who said they wanted a vaccinated employee. And if that survey most likely was not initiated, there would be clients like yourself who are not vaccinated or jabbed and would not have had a problem you coming onto their premises. And given the nature of your type of engagement, it's not one-on-one or direct. Let's say a commercial warehouse. You're working along the perimeter of a warehouse. You have very limited contact with anyone. You work solo by yourself. So your engagement was beyond the stipulated 6 feet in terms of interaction. Yet that zealous action resulted in you spending 3 months at home and not even salaried. Now, if you were given a stipend until, quote unquote, things change, I think you would have had a complete different disposition towards the situation. But no, you were basically followed before that word was brought into our language in February with regard to public servants. So you were technically furloughed, all of that word wasn't used, and you weren't paid. So, Dwayne, I want to say thank you for coming on the program. I think it's an inspiration to all persons in a similar situation or a situation in which they can relate to indicate if you have a problem, seek redress. And most likely, if you're persistent and tenacious, you would get a resolution that is favorable to you. And in your case, you are an embodiment to persons out there who are probably saying, I'm in a similar situation, but I feel stuck. Well, you can get redress. And like Dwayne, it can turn out favorably. And both parties could go on to their separate ways and coexist peacefully in the business economic environment that we all have to operate in. And that is exactly what Dwayne is doing. And I sincerely wish that as the years go by, you tell me you have a staff of 3 or 4 or 5, 2 vehicles. You had to operate now in a building. You're now renting a building with an option to purchase, and you grow and you look back at this day, this moment in time, and tell yourself it was just a bridge to a horizon. I do not know if there's anything else, Dwayne, you would like to add, or Felicia, if you would like to say anything to Dwayne.
Nothing further than just telling Dwayne, I'm glad that we were able to assist you, and I wish you all the best
I don't know if you all are
in
hearing me,
your.
but I'm not hearing you all anymore.
Okay, I don't think Dwayne is hearing us anymore, but for the audience who will still be hearing us, I just wanted to tell Dwayne, congratulations on starting your own business, and I'm glad that the Citizens Union was able to help and resolve your matter.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, Felicia, we can move to the second part of the segment and introduce Sherwin.
Good evening, Sherwin, and welcome back.
Pleasant good evening to you. Thanks very much.
Okay, Sherwin, you hearing me?
I'm hearing you loud and clear.
Okay, and Felicia, I presume you're hearing me also?
Yes, I am.
Okay, all right. So, Felicia, since you have the technical difficulties, maybe you can do a brief little re-intro with Sherwin on what I would call episode 8, just 8, because this is 8.0. So you guys get acquainted again for the benefit of the audience, and then we'll dive straight into it. And as this program actually is named, it's called 8.0, More Rock Than Roll, because the last program you on was just called Rock and Roll. So that's an insight to the audience. It's going to be rocking tonight. But I would let Felicia do the little intro, and we are going to do a deep dive.
All right. Well, for those who would have seen the first program that Sherwin and myself would have done, Ian was not available because he had technical difficulties that week. Sherwin is from the Port Authority, and he worked past tense at the Port Authority, where in carrying out his duties, he became a victim of, I would say, what did he become a victim of? Injustice. He
Correct.
was victimized by his employers. He was victimized by the people who were supposed to represent him. And in telling his story, we really got to understand. And I mean, we always knew that Trinidad is a backward country where we have rules that people don't follow, but we really got to understand just how broken we are as a country, where you can even be penalized and victimized for doing the right thing. And I think that is what stuck out for me in Sherwin's story. And for those who would have heard it before, who may be hearing it for the first time, I'll allow him to tell his side of what took place that day and what landed him here at the Citizens Union of Trinidad and Tobago, reaching out to us for help.
Okay, Sherwin, go ahead. I will interject only for clarity for the audience. I know the story. referencing Felicia's comment, she interviewed Sherwin. There were technical glitches. And then I did a subsequent show, and there were more technical glitches. Essentially, half the program disappeared. Boom. So here we are together to make sure that the story is out and nothing disappears. So, Sherwin, on the 8th of January 2020, that is the beginning of your baptism of fire. Take it from there.
Blessed good night to everyone. I am number 32848 Estate Constable Sherwin Edwards of the Port Police Department attached to the Port Authority on Trinidad and Tobago. On the 8th of January of 2020, I was at a certain location on the Port Authority, dressed in uniform, and an employee off on that day, hustling on the port, tried to access a restricted area where a battle was ensued. He was arrested and charged and brought before the court.
Okay. You use a word that I'm familiar with, hustle. What do you mean by that?
In my terminology of a hustle on the port is that you are off on the port duties, and there are other hustling aspects on the port, like working on behalf of the tourism company of Trinidad and Tobago, when cruise ship comes in and you could transport passengers or vessels. So there are hustles as such that said employee was hustling on the another aspect of changing his portfolio to hustle.
And then I think it's a good choice of word.
Well,
So this employee was on a casual day, I presume. And of course, a casual day is self-explanatory. You get paid for the casual day. For example, like to go and apply for a visa. So he comes back to his location where he got the casual day, and he's hustling for the Tourism and Transport Services Association of Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes.
So it's himself to himself, to government entities.
Apparently.
Okay, right. So that, now, you said he was on a casual day and he was trying to enter a restricted area.
Yes.
Right. And what were your actions or engagement with the staff in question, in terms of him trying to enter a restricted area on a day in which he was off on a casual day?
Yes. Well, the location where I was posted on that day on behalf of the Port Authority, I was posted to check wharf passes of individuals working on that day, and also to ensure that their personal protective equipment or PPE to access the restricted area. That is to ensure they could go back home safely to their families. So on that said day, the said individual trying to access had no wharf pass, by extension, no PPE to access the said restricted area.
And I presume you would have advised him that he's not authorized on his day off to enter a restricted area, which he normally can enter while he is rostered to work.
Yes, sir. I told him that because how I knew he was hustling is that on that said day, a cruise ship came in. There were drivers dressed in, once you registered with the tourism company, you have to wear white top, black pants, black shoe, and also have the tourism ID to show that you are part of our affiliation concerning the driving of these passengers of the vessel.
What was his response and or reaction to you telling him he cannot enter the restricted area?
Well, obscenities were flying left, right, and center. I was dehumanized in the conversation. And when he forced himself in, is there where we ensued, and he was arrested and charged and brought before the court.
Could you amplify on the word ensued? It seems like there was a tussle.
Yes, there were. I was pushed against the fence. In doing so, my elbow was bruised, blood was running off my elbow, and yeah, I still suffer, not as before, but there are spasms I experience sometimes night or day, especially when the place cold. I do still suffer from those spasms.
Right. I have a copy of your initial report following the incident, and something strikes me. You were instructed by Estate Raj to go to the hospital. Was that necessary?
Yes, since the one of the charges laid on the gentleman was labeled assault, to in order to enact the whole process, the individual must go to the general hospital where they will be examined. Their medical will stay there until the person who is charging for the assault will go to the said institution and receive the medical to start creating the file for the assault case.
And in this instance, who was the charging officer at the port?
The charging officer at the port in this incident was acting Inspector Raj, because also he was in charge of the charge room when the reports were reported to him.
Okay. Again, making reference to your report, I won't go into the sections, but I'm just going to call out a few things. Contravention of a lawful direction, resisting arrest, obscene language. That's just to summarize the charges that were laid against the gentleman.
Yes.
Those charges haven't been laid. Where is this being adjudicated? Is this being adjudicated in any court in the jurisdiction of Trinidad and Tobago?
Yes, the magistrate court.
Okay. So it's okay. But making reference again to the report, the mere fact I have a copy of the report you submitted. This report was written to Estate Inspector Juggernaut. So Raj instructs you to go to the hospital. He does the charging, and you did a written report to Inspector Juggernaut acting. Who is
Yes.
Inspector Juggernaut in relation to the structure in the unit in which you worked?
Okay, so there's three upper arms of the unit, which consider the executive is like the inspector, the assistant superintendent of police, and then the estate security superintendent of police. Those are the three arms that form that ring on top. So the first arm, which is inspector, Mr. Juggernaut was acting in his capacity thereof.
Okay, so that's why the report is addressed to which I'm looking at.
Yes.
Okay. Once you've written this report to him, where is this report supposed to go?
Well, it's supposed to end up in HR, but before it goes there, he will vet it, ensure everything is okay, then send it to the Estate Security Superintendent's office. He will vet her as well, where signatures will be laid once it goes to him before the last stop goes to the HR's office.
Okay. Did the report arrive on the desk of HR at the Port Authority?
No, initially, no. After 4 months, where this gentleman was arrested on charge with trial pending, he was still working. And when I went to HR on inquiries concerning why this gentleman is working, knowing that he has a case or matters before the court, and I spoke to one, Miss Wright, HR manager, or then HR manager, which told me, I told her I have a copy of, she said she cannot do anything because no report was submitted to her. I said, okay, ma'am. So how can I get it to, I have it on me right now. Can I hand you it in person? She told me no. It must be interdepartmental. So I said, okay. So can you call the superintendent's office now to say I'm going to drop it in the inspector's office and you'll get it by evening? No, Mr. Edwards, and she shut me down. I was left in the cold.
Okay, so I just want to go back to the charges laid against the gentleman in question. And I presume there would have been initial quote unquote appearance
Yes.
for the laying of charges.
Yes.
Okay. Now that we have gotten to that point, when was your first court appearance?
Well, the first one started just after you was arrested and charged. It has been the next day, so it was the 9th of January of 2020.
And your
But
next
after
appearance
that,
was when?
a few months later, and after when about 3-4 I missed.
Okay, which is the one you attended to subsequent to the charging appearance?
So it would have been the first one, the first day would have been the 9th of January of 2020. Then there was a next court matter to know what's happening with handover evidence and stuff. And then there were few later dates which I was able to attend.
I believe you attended one in May of 2022.
Yes. That was the last one, May of 2022.
Right, so we can call that a fact-finding appearance?
Yes, it was.
Okay, but the others you alluded to that you didn't attend, was there a reason for not being able to attend the other dates, appearances, I should say?
Yes, of two reasons. Because
What are
of
they?
threats to my life and my son's life, and COVID-19.
Okay, when is your next appearance?
In the month of October of 2022.
Okay, so let's go back to Miss Wright. Miss Wright didn't want to take the report from you. She didn't want it. She wanted to go through the proper channels, which you submitted to her. Are you aware if, in fact, she eventually got a report? The HR manager?
Not Miss Wright, but the new one has the report. Or
All right,
report,
so
I
before
should
we
say.
get to the new manager, what has Miss Wright? Has she left the port, or is she? What capacity is she working in?
No, they changed her position. So I don't know what it is at this time, but she's no longer the HR manager. But they changed
Okay,
her
so
portfolio.
could we say she has been reassigned?
We can't simply say so, yes.
Right, but the point for saying she's being reassigned, she's still part of management.
Yeah, yes, she is.
Right, and the new HR manager what's the new HR manager's name?
Oh, Miss Brenda John.
But you say that with such enthusiasm. Why?
Because she actually gave me an air when I thought there was none that could have taken me seriously. So she had given me an air.
Did you give her the report since she took over the position from Miss Wright?
Yeah, so she would have gotten a new report I wrote to her, and also a copy of the said report you're referring to from where I was submitted to the inspector's office, Acting Inspector Jagannath.
Why was a new report requested? Because at the time, the original report captures what transpired, and a new report allows for the introduction of new events favorable to you.
Quite so. It would have started where I had was to take my life and my son's life into account because of these threats that was coming so serious, and information that I have given to the port, sensitive information, has now been brought in the public domain concerning myself and my son. And because of such, I felt all hope was lost on the entity of the Port Authority of Trinidad and Tobago.
So you are saying that threats to you, you as an employee of the port and as a parent, took measures for your own safety and that of your child.
Yes.
Okay. Now, Ms. John, she got the report from what you said. What did Ms. John do with the report? Did she interview you? Did she take any action on the report? Because as you indicated earlier, the gentleman is still working at the port at the time, at least up to 4 months after the incident. So at least some process can be adjudicated, and either he is given a warning letter or he's suspended for a day or a week. Did any such action take place?
From my recollection, nothing has been done.
So, as we sit here today, tonight, July 27th, that's an ominous date and month and date number. Nothing has been done with the first report that you sent to Mr. Juggernaut and the subsequent report you sent to the new HR manager who replaced Ms. Wright, who has been reassigned, in terms of resolving internally at the port the issue with regard to the person with whom you had the altercation.
Nothing has been done.
I think you want to repeat that for the public.
Because considering the two reports and submitted to HR, nothing has been done thus far.
So the only action that seems to be making some progress is the action regarding the assault at the magistrate's court, in which the next hearing is in October of 2022.
Yes, well, the gentleman has 4 matters. The assault is separate from the other 3 that was previously read, but both will be on that day. Or days, as the case may be.
Now, during our one-on-one conversations, you alluded to the fact that, like, ironically, another incident, maybe not as egregious as your incident involving assault, took place at the port. And I presume it followed a protocol where a report was written and the person was suspended.
Yes.
You just want to amplify on that? Why no action was taken and another one action was taken?
Well, one of the individual who was there is one of the hierarchy on the 3 crung upstairs, and he fell out with a manager by a gate, and the manager would have summarized and said he was assaulted. He went and got his medical. Yes, he went and got his medical. He wrote a report to HR, and within 2 weeks from when the said incident happened, the said individual was suspended and is currently on suspension.
Now, while I digest that, I'm going to allow Felicia to dissect that, what she has heard in the last 10 minutes.
I mean, it's not the first time I'm hearing what is taken place. I think what stands out to me the most in this particular instance, again, and I said it in the beginning, it's like you jumping through hoops, and it's almost as if you are the one being under persecution for doing what has now become your job. Well, what was your job? And I mean, the fact that this gentleman was still returning to work and allowed to return to work, I think raises a lot of questions. We hear about nepotism and cronyism, which is knowing people and friends and family and allowing things to pass because you know them happening in high positions in the government. But it seems as if some of that had to be taking place on the port as well. Because how is it that this issue that should gather as much attention and as serious action as it should gather, how is it being allowed to be treated in such a manner? And again, why are you the person being or going through the most and jumping through the most hoops when you were simply trying to do the right thing? That's my take on it. Ian's audio is out. I'm not hearing Ian.
Okay. Yeah, Sherwin, could you just amplify on from your perspective, at the port, why a similar incident involving assault followed a quick protocol based on the timeline you just enunciated. Report was written, it goes to HR, and there was a suspension. There are similarities between the two: assault, report, HR, investigation, action taken, notably suspension. But in your instance,
Okay.
regarding the altercation you had with Mr. Arnold Julian on the day he was hustling, to the best of your recollection, he's probably still there as of today, the 27th of July.
Yes.
What could you offer to me and to those listening? And could you proffer explanation for the diametrically opposite responses?
Well, there's a basic summary from my point of view where I'm feeling it coming from. Because while there are two arms of the port, where is port and also they have to have the port police department. I am seeing where the port police department is always under scrutiny, while on the port side they are always safeguarded, shunned, and put away. But port police help them to do that as well.
Could you just drill 4 more feet below that so I can better appreciate what was just said?
You know, our
I'm not the
department,
sharpest, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, so you'll have to help me here.
the port police department, since my tenure, has been where you have to be by the books. You slip, you slide, we tell you do this, you don't do this, we victimize you, we do you all sorts of wrong under the sight of God. And yet they want you to perform. And that HR has always acts very swiftly with us. While on the port side, they have gotten chances upon chances. And it's with raffle you will win.
Therefore, could I say, and you can correct me, the person with whom you had the altercation, Mr. Arnold Julian, is not an estate police constable at the port police unit.
No, he is in the other arm of the port.
So he falls into the other camp,
Yes,
the camp where there are special privileges that can be afforded to you, even involving an assault.
apparently.
I find that passing strange that one is precepted, becomes an estate police constable, doing right things, restricting access, managing persons visiting our shores on tourist vessels, etc., arms, ammunition. But at the same time, there's a bipolar approach that, yeah, do everything exactly according to the law as a port estate police constable, but the non-port police constables, quote unquote, the general staff, are treated very differently on the same location.
Yes.
How did this evolve? How did these two groups, how does this evolve?
Well,
What is it?
the problem is on the port authority is that the people who are enforcing the laws are breaking the laws. That is what the problem we are having. The enforcers are the breakers. So management will
I think that's going to end up on TikTok.
So the enforcers now will set up the network with the superintendent. He will track along his information to our notice board. We read, we comply, we address, we quarrel sometimes on it, but we get it done in a timely manner to address management issues. Yet they carry you to specialized training for it. They carry you seminars for it. But yet, when you enforce it, you are now a victim by the department.
I'm not normally speechless. This is one of those occasions.
There's so many more. It's Pandora's box.
I don't want to take away from your moment in tonight's show, your story, but as you were saying what you just said in the last few minutes, my mind runs to June 9th, when another port employee came on a program here, Abigail Date. and a summary of
Yes.
her situation at the port in the same capacity as a estate police constable. And I'm going to use words here so it's not disparaging. There was a series of incidents that is on the cusp of sexual harassment, resulting in a lot of just simply her having to get psychiatric care and counseling.
Yes, so I heard.
Okay. So I'm just listening to you and Cutt haven't done that interview a few weeks ago. There is something toxic taking place at the port and in generally and more specifically in your unit. And it seems to be an equal opportunity unit, both a male and a female. So they cannot be accused
Yes.
of discrimination.
Yes, agreed.
And I just want to say this to the listening audience. Since Abigail came on to the program, we have been contacted. She's the tip of the spear. That's all I wish to say for now on her issue. And alluding to Felicia's opening comments about Cutt and what it does, she's currently on sick leave. And I presume she'll be returning to work at some point. Because my last conversation, she's anxious to return to work. And there are a couple of reasons for that. And there's something similar in your situation. She has not been paid for the number of days she's had to be absent from work due to the situation that took place, resulting in her seeking counseling and guidance with the attendant sick leave and a lot of medication. Some of the words I can't pronounce. You'll have to be a PhD in chemistry to understand some of the medication she's taking. But the bottom line is, she's going to have to return to the environment which you exited for your safety and that of your child.
Yes.
Cutt is watching with bated breath the reactions to her return to work. So, just want to put that out there. Because I find the parallels uncannily similar.
Quite so.
Now, you alluded to the fact that you were threatened. I gather the threats that made you take the action to protect yourself and your child was based on information made available to you that only certain persons at the port were privy to by you making it available to them.
Yes, because of the sensible nature of the information given.
Okay. Would it be safe to assume at the moment you are below the radar?
I try my best to be.
Except for tonight.
Exactly.
Okay. Just to refer to Abigail Date for a brief moment. Her absence from work has resulted in a situation where she owes the port money for the number of days she's been absent from work. A very unusual situation where the employee owes the employer money. I only say that to come to you. Your actions to protect yourself and your child, how are you surviving?
My elderly mother, with her pension, assists as it's so hard right now, as monthly, the best way we can.
Are you getting support from any other entity, organization,
I must say the church has stepped in, or churches, I should say, have stepped in and lend a hand brotherly to at least I could survive
So I can say you're living by the grace of God,
by the grace of God.
and you're just waiting for all of this to be resolved. Both the matter that's going to have another hearing in October of 2022, but you are absolutely uncertain at the moment what is going to take place with the matter involving Arnold Julian, because the report has been submitted and no action has been taken. Ostensibly, on the balance of probabilities, he's still working there and not suspended. And you do
Yes,
not know what resolution will come out of that in order for you to get some redress or justice to be served. And it's not that we want him to be punished or you want him to be fired. I mean, there has to be guidelines. You all have a bargaining unit. So there has to be
yes, we do.
procedures to address the situation. So that brings me to the other point. What is the role, if any, the bargaining unit, if you could identify the bargaining unit, is playing to assist you to resolve this matter?
They have not. I wrote the president of the union, and he didn't responded at the time, and the union has now changed. About 5 days ago, I forwarded a basic copy of the said document to the said union, and the new union president said he will look at it. No response thus far, but they have done nothing.
I don't want the audience to go away with the wrong impression. Were you a member in good standing with the union?
Yes, because the union dues was coming out right from your salary.
Okay, so it's deducted at source, you're in good standing, and you have no representation.
None whatsoever.
I think in my next life, I am going to create a union.
I am wishing that you do as of now.
Nah, Ian, we need to hear anyone that works so that we can take up the matters that the ones that don't work leave on the wayside. So no
But
starting of any union.
you're missing a salient point, Felicia, since you like to crunch numbers. One is more financially beneficial.
Well, clearly, I mean, maybe that's how we should set up citizens union. We take it straight out of your salary. I mean, these people, they make sure one thing they make sure they collect is their dues. They make sure they collect their dues.
Well,
Exactly.
let's put that on the agenda for the next Cutt management meeting. Okay? We are also entrepreneurial, always looking at ways to diversify and adapt to the current environment. And it looks like the union model in Trinidad is very lucrative. And while we say this in jest, we are also talking to some TST workers, and we will deal with that in another segment or two. And it's the same thing. Up to date, deductions at source, lack of representation. So while Felicia laughs at my comment, I can prove to her it's a viable option. I have case studies I can give to her and show her, look, we get it registered, we deduct at source, and we do nothing. So you are, at the moment, at the mercy and the support of the churches that you're involved with, providing you, I guess, some sort of subsistence to you and your son?
Yes, when they can, because of
When they-
COVID, yes, everything has slowed down tremendously. So it's when they can, they assist gracefully, and I am thanking God for it.
But I must say, on a personal level, you have found yourself in a reverse position where at this stage of your mother's life, you are dependent on her rather than you providing her with succor and support in the circle of life.
I never thought this day would have come in my entire life. I always knew I am to take care of my mom, and I always work hard and diligently to do so. But unfortunately, because of the what I should say, incompetence, and not the know-how how to get the job done, or by trying to victimize or discriminate an individual or individuals. Here we are discussing something they were trained to do.
Sharon, you can take the next couple of minutes and you could ad lib and just talk to the audience. We have asked you questions because we try to direct the conversation in an evolutionary way that they would understand the alpha and the omega of your situation. But I think just speak from your heart, talk to the viewing public as a human being.
I am telling to the start off, being in a precarious situation like this is very hard. My son can get the things you're accustomed getting. I am not living comfortable. You can only eat what is available to you. It is climbing because of COVID. People don't have arms and arms as before. So sometimes there's nothing to eat. But yet God is in control. So this situation has changed my whole life drastically because you're working for money to not having none. That is where you're at. From 100 to 0. And it has been open for 2 years. And the port just keep protecting this man time and time again. Maybe he's attached to management. But the truth is, had I not been advised properly concerning this said case, I could have been suspended by the said department because my department was advising the man what to do, providing that I did not arrest and charge him. So I am telling you, you're in a rock and a hard place. You know, what good for one, not good for the other. So they put like they had children, and we are the bastards. But police are the bastards. And I am telling you, it's not going to change until management is fully accountable for carrying out their duties on the Port Authority of Trinidad and Tobago. Until such, there'll be chaos. And if it don't stop, somebody, I'm just saying, devil's advocate, somebody may pull the trigger. Because frustration, some may handle through prayer, and some who don't pray, look out. So it is very hard, and to see, as a member of the entity, I believe I have more service than the gentleman. That's an next thing into account. I have more service than the gentleman, and the port didn't even look my way. So here we are. I can tell anybody, through prayer, fasting, and supplication, I was able to override my depression. It wasn't easy, but God stood the test of time with good people that know God. There is still hope, people.
I don't want to add anything to that. Felicia?
The only thing I would add is that I am glad that the Citizens Union has taken up your matter, and I will be following, just like with every other case that Ian takes on, every other story that we tell on this program. I will be following up to hear a positive resolution, one in your favor, and one that, even though it can't, one that compensates you for the amount of mental and emotional and financial stress that this matter has put you under. It is only deserving that you get justice in a matter where it is clearly biased and not leaning in your favor, and I hope that we are the organization that can bring that justice to you.
Why, thank you.
Nice speaking with you again, Shiv. And next time we meet, hopefully I get some positive updates.
Pleasure is all mine.
Sharon, thank you for coming on. I appreciate the fact that you came and you shared your plight and ordeal. At the beginning of the program, we called it a story, but the way it ended it's a plight and an ordeal. It's no longer a
Okay.
story.
Hmm.
You know where to find us.
I
We are
do.
ubiquitous. And if there's anything we can do in addition to what we have done thus far, we are available to you and to Abigail, your colleague, also at the port. And we will work closely with you to, as Felicia alluded to get a resolution that is beneficial to you and amicable to both the parties, yourself and management. And I trust that they will watch the program or look at the salient segments. And it's built into the title, Human Resource Manager. The word human is there.
I feel it's dehuman in this instance. Them is dehuman. Them not human. Dehumans. Destroy.
Okay, it was third time a charm. And
Agreed.
it was good to get you to complete what was part offering on the last occasion. And tomorrow, as Felicia said, this is going to be streamed at, I think, 8 or 9 o'clock. That can be confirmed. And nothing is going to disappear tomorrow.
Thank you, Lord.
It's going to be all
Cross
intact.
fingers.
Cross fingers, yeah. I am not tech savvy. They may just do something that I didn't even think about. But we
Imagine if after all of this, Daryl comes and tells us, "Oh, guys, I forgot to press record."
Wait, hold on. I just kidding.
Oh, very good point,
All
Felicity.
right.
Just turn it on. Okay, again, thank you so much for coming on for the third time, Sherwin. It was really a pleasure chatting with you under the circumstances to listen to your ordeal, your plight, your suffering. But in closing, the most important thing I just want the audience to take away, apart from the specificity of your ordeal, is your faith, your reliance on God, turning to the church, unfortunately having to rely on your mother. And that is what helped you to cope with your depression.
Yes.
Keep up the faith, stay close to God, and things will work out in your favor. The first segment of this show referred to a gentleman who went through an ordeal, but he landed on his feet.
Amen.
And I'm certain the same thing will happen to you. Be persistent, pray. And good luck with the matter in the magistrate's court. I am pretty certain that is going to work in your favor. But just before I close, who is representing you in the magistrate court?
A state prosecutor, which is a trained police officer in legal services.
Right. And the reason I specifically asked you that question, I didn't want the audience to walk away thinking that you had a matter in the magistrate court, most likely have the means test to retain counsel, and yet you're relying on your mother, and you're talking about church and God. So the public knows it's the state that is representing you in the matter at the magistrate court through a police officer who is a trained attorney. With that,
Yes.
I want to say thank you. Good night to everyone who was with us tonight. And tomorrow, I will be looking at this show, even though Felicity and I were part of it. I am so sure she's going to look at it from a different angle. Okay, thanks,
Yeah.
Daryl, for all the work behind the scenes. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, good night, everyone.
Good night, Ian, and good night, Sherwin. All right, so just
Okay.
me left, and I usually do of the program. I usually do the business affiliate segment. Sometimes we bring on members of our business affiliate program. Sometimes I just talk a little bit about business affiliates. Today I'm going to talk about some of the new business affiliates that came on board in the month of July, as well as advertise for one particular company, which is Sartorial Transition. This is owned by Simone Edwards. Simone offers sewing classes for people who want to learn to sew basic, intermediate, and advanced courses. The basic course is starting on August 2nd. So if you ever wanted to learn how to sew, I do. you should join this sewing class. If you'd like to reach out to Simone Edwards, her number is 323-7437. Like I said, she's offering sewing classes for Citizens Union members and members of the general public, but you as a Citizens Union member get 10% off the cost of the sewing classes. So if you would like to be a part, if you'd like to take the class, number is 323-7437. There's even a class that's teaching you how to sew school uniforms. Now, I know right now parents they have a month left before school reopens, and I know book lists and school uniforms are at the top of the list. You have to budget all of those things in this month's paycheck and in August month's paycheck. So for those who would like to save some money, you would like to learn to sew or maybe advance your own present sewing knowledge, you can reach out to Simone. She is a Cutt business affiliate and she's offering sewing classes and a 10% discount to all Citizens Union members. In addition to Simone, tonight I also want to talk about 5 new business affiliates who joined us. One is Louis Herbal Health Clinic located in Parakeet Street, Tacarigua. All of these businesses you can find on cuttdiscounts.com. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that website towards the end. The Louis Herbal Health Clinic is offering 15% off of their services, which include full body assessment, live and dry blood analysis, detox programs, sauna therapy, and infrared TDP therapy. I'm not sure what the last one is. If you know what it is and you would like to get 15% off of these services, reach out to Louis Herbal Health Clinic. The number is 233-2810 or 278-1661. The person that you are asking for is Shanice or Dr. Lewis, who is the person who is responsible for this health clinic. We also have Valley Medical Center, which is located in Pitti Valley, Diego Martin. The deal is 10% off of all services done, which include x-rays, blood tests, scans, 10 to 20% off depending on the service that you are looking to get. So all of our Cutt members located in the West Valley Medical Center, they are giving 10 to 20% off a wide range of services, which include x-rays, blood tests, scans, etc. I think that is an absolute amazing deal. The number, if you would like to reach out to Valley Medical Center, it's 633-2402. We also have the Freitas Liquor Mart, which is located on Marval Road. We have a liquor mart on board, which is offering 5% off wholesale purchases that exceed $500. The person to contact is Tennille de Freitas, 762-1904 if you would like to get 5% off your wholesale purchases at the Freitas Liquor Mart, which is located in Marval. We also have West Cool Auto AC. We have a lot of Diego Martin people. The West Cool Auto AC Limited is located in Diego Martin. They're offering free auto AC diagnosis, which is usually $120 per vehicle, and 10% off auto AC jobs, parts, and labor. That's really great. So if you would like, your AC needs tuning up, your AC needs to check, you're wondering if something is wrong with your compressor, you can check out West Cool Auto AC Limited, which is located in Diego Martin on Diego Martin Main Road. The number to contact is 637-9728. And last but not least, we have Neil Cool Air Conditioning Services. This is a brand new business affiliate located in Central. So if you would like to get your AC services hooked up, visit and call Neil Cool Air Conditioning Services. You're getting 10% off servicing your AC and $100 off on each new installation on 2 or more units. So those are 5 new business affiliates that we have advertised. If you would like to check out these and more businesses, check out cuttdiscounts.com. It's a brand new website that we launched where you can search by area, by product type, by industry and get your deal as a Citizens Union member. Now, just to reiterate what this business affiliate program is, and for those who don't understand, I hear some talk outside, so let me break it down and explain it to those who don't understand. When we say we leverage the strength of our membership, we have close to a little over 10,000 members who we partner or pair with our business affiliates. So on this discount website, which is cuttdiscount.com, you as one of the 10,000 members can go and search for over 150 businesses and figure out where you would like to use your Cutt card and receive discounts. The only thing that we are offering these businesses is our membership, the strength of our membership, the numbers that we have in our membership, which we direct to our business affiliate partners. Our business affiliate partners also benefit from having 10,000 people or whatever percentage of that shop and turn their eyesight on that business, where they can be choosing from anybody else outside. They're choosing you because you are a Cutt business affiliate. So for those who are interested in being a part of the Cutt business affiliate program, you can reach out to Sahai. She heads that team with a team of about 3 people who are signing up business affiliate members every day. If you would like to become a Cutt business affiliate and benefit from our thousands of members shopping by you, reach out to Sahai and 374-8747. Sahai would be happy to sign you up. She will also give you the list of benefits that you get for being a Citizens Union business affiliate, which include, and you've heard it in the first half of this program, which includes access to Ian and the legal team and any assistance that you may need. It's a 2-in-1. You get to be a business affiliate partner and you're also considered a Citizens Union member. You yourself can take your card and shop at any of the other businesses that are affiliated with us. This affiliate program, it is growing. I am so happy to see we started off with 1 person. Our team is now 4 people working hard to bring more affiliate members on board, to bring as many discounts as we can to you, our Citizens Union members. I am very proud to be the person in charge of and spearheading the business affiliate program. Just like TAP, just like Magna, just like any other discount program, we want to grow this as big as possible and use it as another advantage, another benefit of being a member of the Citizens Union of Trinidad and Tobago. If you don't know the other benefits, we have a hamper program where we do hampers every month. This month we were able to do a couple hampers. Well, we also were able to do some for the families of the pariah divers who passed away. We're supposed to be doing that handover this week. Looking forward to that because these are people who, after what happened to the divers, the families were left more or less to figure out how to survive on their own without their main breadwinner, without them being around. So this is something that we as a Citizens Union member, Philip Alexander, would have exposed and been one of the first responders at the pariah incident, and we haven't forgotten about them. We are continuing our work to highlight and keep this issue present. We are still demanding a commission of inquiry, a real commission of inquiry, and we're demanding people be held accountable for what happened to those divers. But in the meantime, the Citizens Union of Trinidad and Tobago, we will help where we can, even if it means reaching out to the families of the divers, which we have done, and assisting them with our hamper program. If you would like to be a part of this hamper program, because we can only do this through our donations, through membership, please reach out to Sahai as well. That number again is 374-8747. You would be helping those in need, as well as you would be contributing to building and strengthening the network of the Citizens Union of Trinidad and Tobago. So thank you so much for joining us this evening. This program, like I said, it's everything Citizens Union, and every week we try to bring something new. This week I was able to tell you about 5 new business affiliates, as well as the sectorial transition. Simone Edwards, who's offering this month, she's offering 10% off of sewing classes for anybody who may be interested in taking that. The number again is 323-7437. And again, you can find all of these business affiliates on our brand new website, cuttdiscounts.com. It's being updated daily. Every time we get a new member, we have a team working to put that up so you as the members can access where and who you can shop by and get discounts using your Citizen Union card. If your card is up for renewal, guys, please don't forget to renew your card. Yes, cards do expire a year from your date. You reach out to 486-2888. Natasha will assist you in getting your Cutt card renewed. You don't want to go and shop and find out that you have an expired card. Okay? All right, guys. Thank you for joining us, and I look forward to watching this program along with you. Like I said, we are filming on a Wednesday. We're airing on a Thursday. So I will be there in the live comments. And of course, any feedback that you would like to give us on the program, reach out to me, 769-4590. If you would like to advertise on the program, because at the beginning of the show, you would have seen Trinity Lighting, flood barriers. We had a couple of businesses well advertising. You get a free ad as a business affiliate member, by the way. And of course, discounted rates on advertising on this and other programs that Philip and we do in the Citizen Union. So thank you, stay safe, and I will see you all next week Thursday for another episode of Citizens Union Hour. Bye.